Hello and welcome back. It is the Group D decider. It could very well be the last map of the day, unless FaZe can pull a finger out. It is, of course, going up against Fnatic, and the map is Mirage. We did just see one of the most insane comebacks. I say comebacks. 7 rounds for Fnatic.
Don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years.
Nice. 16-9 the final score. Fnatic picked it up. The Swedes move into Mirage, and you've already started. Duncan, you have the opportunity now to tell us whether or not we're going to see a third map. It's going to be a very early start, but let's talk predictions.
I actually do think so. Even though this isn't a map I think is like some fantastic map for Mirage, for Fnatic, at least in the last year and a half of play. This is, if you look at the form Fnatic's in, I feel like this is the map where FaZe has to really be absolutely... All cylinders have to be firing. Everyone has to be locked and loaded. This has to be a fantastic... More cliches than that, if they want the guys from FaZe to take this to 3 maps, because I feel like Fnatic's, like, they're poised, and this is where like the championship team just does you in 2-0 here. They don't give you a chance to get to that third map. Yeah. I think actually FaZe got the great start there, and they didn't do too much with it. Now it's true, one thing I do think will be dangerous is, because of the pistol round factor, FaZe can always win pistol rounds. They've got some very good pistol round players and very skilled players, so Fnatic, it's not like they can take any of the half beginnings early, but I just think that the talent on Fnatic, they're not going to have so many games where Olofmeister just chills and they win regardless. Sooner or later, a bunch of them are going to turn up, and actually they're just going to outright blow FaZe out the water, I think. No,
Janko, in order to avoid repeating what Duncan has already said, I'd like to ask you a different question regarding FaZe and Fnatic. When we talk about FaZe, we say, they've got some very strong individuals and it does look rather inconsistent, but then we actually say a similar story. For Fnatic, we say hard to predict, some of the best players in the world. So are there parallels between these two teams, or is that a little bit of a stretch?
There are definitely parallels between the teams. It's just that Fnatic is much more consistent in their performance there than FaZe is, and that's why you see FaZe, with the introduction of Robban as their coach, trying to have some more depth to their game, so they have something to fall back on if the individual players aren't performing and they aren't winning the game simply by brute force, so to speak. But they're still not at that level to have both. I feel like they have some good strats, fast strats on Mirage. Going a fast connector strat has worked a couple of times when I watched their games, but the thing is that on some of the other maps, they don't really fake. So I feel that it's easy to predict what FaZe is going to do. When you see them coming towards you, when you see grenades flying over, that's probably going to be where they're going to end the round. So it is easy to rotate against them on the CT side, I feel like.
Another similarity too, or rather, there are the similarities, but another thing that Fnatic has going for them is just the overall amount of experience that the roster has in playing together. They're able to adapt off of each other much better than the guys from FaZe are, since they're still relatively new, at least when you compare them to Fnatic's course of that one anyway. So I feel like FaZe is still very momentum-based. Great, they get the ball rolling well, but the second Fnatic start to bounce back, because they can take the time to figure out what's going on with each individual player and look for a counter to that, whereas FaZe, I don't really feel like they're going to be able to do that as well. So when they start losing, it's a much longer process for them to find the mistakes, whereas Fnatic adapts to that much quicker.
And also talking about FaZe and that connector and mid control and all of that, this is where one of your favorite players comes to play. Crims, he plays the stairs area for Fnatic on the CT side, and he's probably one of the best players in the world. The timings that he hits are pretty amazing.
And just finally, while you mentioned the name Robban, I felt like, well, we take a full opportunity of having Duncan here. I know we don't have too much time, but if you could quickly, for someone that's sitting there like, who on earth is Robban, if you've only been following CS in the last couple of months, if not years, could you maybe just highlight who this man is?
In terms of the in-game leaders in 1.6 history, he's one of the most decorated. Like, he played for many, many years, solid 4 to 5 years in the in-game leading sort of role or around that area. He sometimes was the second caller in some of the SK Gaming lineups. He was in NIP before that. He was actually in a Big Rip lineup a long, long time ago with Tentpole and Forest. That's where they got their start, actually. So you can see how long ago this guy's been playing since. The thing with him is, he was always very good at getting teams to the level of being like an elite team, like a 3rd or 4th best team. But unfortunately, he was actually someone who had kind of like the Astralis problem. He often had difficulty closing out in majors. Like, he was in something like 5 or 6 major finals, and he only won 1 towards the end when he had like Get Right and Forest coming in behind him. So a lot of people want him with Get Right and Forest coming in. So yeah, he's someone where I think for this sort of a team, it makes sense to have him involved, actually. He's always played with lots of talent around him, and the idea is to just get that talent playing in a loose fashion, but give it some sort of routine. So he makes sense for this team. Will he be like one of the all-time great coaches? I don't think we're going to see him as like a Starix or what Fallen is in terms of the in-game lead. I don't think he's going to take over from that sort of role. He's just there to kind of try and gel these guys together a bit.
And he already has proven that he can be the little bit of a cement in a rather chaotic roster. Very quickly, gents, it is time for predictions. Are we seeing a third map? I just want a yes or a no. We'll start with you, Blue, appropriately in the blue shirt. What have you got?
No, I think Fnatic's going to take this one.
Okay, believing in Fnatic. Any love for FaZe? It doesn't look likely.
No.
Nero, and one more.
FaZe is not going to win.
Okay, so perhaps it will indeed be FaZe down.
It sounded so epic, didn't it?
You're expecting FaZe to go out, and we are going to be introducing your casters, because it's time for Mirage. People are expecting Fnatic to continue to write history and be the only team, and I say only team, of course, after the flip side NIP debacle, the nip-slip almost of Group B. Now we get to talk a little bit, though, with your casters. It's GDK and James Bardolph.
Well, I think there is maybe a smidgen of hope, at least on the T side for FaZe, because we've seen some cool stuff. They actually play the very fast style of attacking very well on this map. That does lend itself to their expertise, but generally speaking, I'm definitely with the desk as well. It's got to be Fnatic.
Yeah, so it's hard to pick against Fnatic. Again, I said Fox is not... He doesn't have the success on this particular map that he does on other maps where there are easier angles to hold, which he's very strong at. Obviously, Inferno now gone, things like that. But again, FaZe starting on the T side, actually, so perhaps we will see those Kiyoshima charges into the connector area. Will they be successful? That's another question. On this occasion, FaZe have gone for 5 Kevlars. There's still a diffuse kit coming out for Fnatic, and JW and co will be on Kevlars as well. We have FaZe with the bomb over towards A. So you have to wonder what Kiyoshima and Jacob are up to. Seem to going to be going quickly down to the underpass, and they may find some traffic there.
Yeah, there's 2 players already, and a headshot to be found. Olofmeister will send Kiyoshima to an early grave. Now, what else can Fnatic find here? We get Rain poking out there from the Palace position too. He doesn't go down just yet, but he's drawn the attention of a couple players of Fnatic, and maybe there's a window to be capitalized upon as FaZe are actually sort of spread out. So it's going to be difficult for them. They're giving 1 versus 1s all over the map, and looks like Fox will win this one against JW. He does take a bit of damage, down to 32 health. And Jacob might find himself another 1 versus 1, but he gets caught going up into connectors. This is a disaster right now from FaZe.
Olofmeister and Dennis combining to take Jacob down through connector. That is a very important hold. You can see the split was attempted by FaZe. Remainder of the team towards A. AZ showing up. The 1 tap there from Crims. That's the bomb down as well, which means full rotation. And nothing but headshots coming in here for Fnatic. Only JW's been lost. Dennis will finish things off there towards A. Great start. We see more shouting downstairs there.
Just the start that they wanted. And now FaZe likely going to be having to go for that force buy, as they did not get the bomb down, and it did seem very disjointed. They, FaZe of course put themselves at risk of a lot of individual engagements before they get to combine onto the attack, and that's always problematic when you're playing against USPs, because USPs are going to have really good, rates, success rates against the Glocks in those longer 1 versus 1s. So FaZe not with the best start, but we'll see if they can recover something here. This force buy notably will feature only a single smoke grenade, which is very limited as far as, limits their options quite a lot. Now they're going to have to be fast here as they try to make their way out of mid.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the purpose of that smoke is, but perhaps we'll find out sooner rather than later. Jacob peeking. He's the one carrying the smoke as well, as that smoke has probably been lost in a CPO area. AZ on short, getting taken down as well. Now, I was going to suggest maybe if they pressured the CPL player away, they could go for a bit of a B split there with the smoke on short, but they're not going to be afforded the opportunity. 2 plays left now. Flusher spamming with the UMP. 8 bullets left, and Kishima's going to get taken down. So, Rain, last man standing. Not much to be done here by the player. Crims is tagged, so perhaps he can get another kill in, but Olofmeister is the one moving up towards top mid, and he will swiftly finish things off there. So FaZe of plans, but nothing came to fruition.
And it's funny that FaZe found the only guy who didn't have a gun. JW just kept the P250, didn't invest in anything, because he wants to really guarantee that he can have that AWP very early on. That's the only reason that he would do that. And, well, he actually won the 1 versus 1 that he got with that P250. So it doesn't, things aren't really going the way of FaZe so far. And only killing 1 player out of that investment obviously makes life a little bit more difficult, because now, Fnatic get to roll into this round with a lot of grenades. The SMG, they can keep the SMGs that they had still. And FaZe, they can't buy anything. They've got to just hold the L in that sense and just run in with the Glocks into the grinder. That is Crims, that is Dennis. And that will be the round without result for FaZe.
Nice. JW was dropped to Tech 9. That was picked up by another player in that particular round, which was always good. And he saved his money, and he's picked up an AWP as well as full grenade. So nicely done by him. Crims and Olofmeister, MP7 and MP9 respectively. Will they keep both weapons? I mean, 1 SMG towards A can be common, as we see from Fer on SK now. But where is that second SMG going? That is the question. A confident Fnatic, perhaps. Crims, I like the place he threw his smoke from. So Olofmeister walking backwards, waiting for a pop flash. There comes the pop flash. He can't really face top of the stairs because his gun has really bad damage fall off. But up close, it can cause much spam. So can an AK. Straight in the face, not much spam required, just the one bullet. JW trying to answer back, and now there are problems here for Fnatic. Dennis getting taken down as well. Again, they've gone for the conservative buy here. They haven't gone all in with their money, but this is not ideal by any means. They haven't done much damage at all, just Kishima taking a bit, but no one dead here for FaZe.
Yeah, so Rain will be able to get himself that quick kill onto Crims, and in reality, from a 2 versus 5, you really want... I mean, Fnatic, they would have expected, you know, to say, all right, we probably have some disadvantages in this round from the weaponry perspective because we decided to play a little bit greedily. And so we can go for those risks, and if it works, we win the round, then our money is going to be outrageous very quickly, and that gives them a lot of security. However, if we lose the round, we will still have money to get a really strong buy-in anyway. So it's a really cool risk that you'll see teams in the position that Fnatic were in take, and it makes a huge amount of sense. So it's just that their risk did not pan out from an individual perspective, and that's great for FaZe because winning some battles, winning some 1 versus 1s is definitely, you know, what they're going to need for a bit of an individual boost confidence-wise for each player. But that said, Flusher's doing a lot of damage here with this UMP. He might be able to steal away an AK-47 as well. That's actually beautiful from Flusher right at the end. In fact, no, he's going to find an AWP. That is magnificent.
It is a nice skin, Dan. I was going to add to that and say that, you know, FaZe, if they survived with 5 players, then that would be bad for Fnatic because the bonus is that they can reset the economy, the loss bonus here for FaZe as well. But FaZe surviving with 5 players might be more difficult for that to happen. FaZe surviving with 3 is good for FaZe as well. Double orbs coming out as Fnatic had lots of money in the bank following that loss. So we'll see what they choose to do. JW, will he go for the A peak? He will indeed, looking to scalp some people with the sharp razor in the barber shop, but nobody's there. We have Rain going over towards Palace and AZ holding a passive position towards A in case of more aggression here from Fnatic.
Yeah, this is a round where Fnatic, after the previous round where it made a lot of sense to take risks, they can play more conservatively here, more standard, and just see what kind of pace FaZe want to play against as the full setup. And already, Crims with a bit of a one-way smoke there. Oh, please, no, not 2 kills out of the one-way. That is really terrible news for FaZe. Not able to trade that, perhaps lured into the kind of... maybe he felt like he could trade it, but just then couldn't see the player, and then having that slow reaction just allowed an easy second kill there for Crims. And now FaZe are in a position where they actually don't have much utility left because there's only 3 players left at this point, 2 smoke grenades, and they have no map control at all. So this is, it can't really get too much worse than this early into a round.
Yeah, Jacob's just staring at the area his comrades fell on. And that's a very strong smoke for the counter-terrorists. I think 90% of the time, it is a one-way like that. Rain peeking over towards a ramp, gets taken down as well. No damage done by FaZe. Not only are they collapsing here in this round, but they are not doing any damage to the economy of Fnatic. Fnatic with 2 AWPs, 1 being stolen, of course. But still, there's no damage done here. Jacob and Kishima going for the split. JW's got an off angle. He probably can't help Crimson Dennis here, going for a bit of a double peek towards CT on A. Nice snap there by Dennis. That's not going to leave much here for Jacob to do. The bomb's down as well. 12 seconds, and he might have to just try and hide somewhere and save his rifle. JW spots him, but he might be okay. Flusher seems to be charging in through connector though, so perhaps Jacob won't save this AK after all.
Yeah, the full reset coming in, that hurts a lot. And Fnatic didn't lose a single player. That is really painful right now, and this is probably the worst start you could possibly have against Fnatic on Mirage. I can't think of a way it could actually be worse than this. Fnatic are going to build ridiculous amounts of money. There's very limited opportunity for FaZe to impact their economy because they just don't have any money to realistically do that. So Fnatic will get the ability to take all kinds of risks, and not only that, they'll have the freedom, because they'll realize if we mess our risks up, we still have a second chance here.
And indeed, and some people at home say, well, if it was 5-0, it would be worse. But the thing is, if it was 5-0, FaZe would have maximum loss bonus, which means they could keep up pressure on Fnatic and try and lower their economy. But because they won 1 round and got reset and wiped out, and in the following round, they did not kill a single player of Fnatic. Fnatic have lots of money, FaZe have no money, which means Fnatic have a great opportunity to extend their lead quite significantly and build their money, because FaZe have less to fight with, as we're seeing here. 2 pistols now versus 5 players. A bunch of players are tagged, and finally somebody will go down for Fnatic.
And one thing that I feel like we're going to start to see fairly quickly when FaZe start to get the buys rolling in is that very aggressive connector play. where they try to split onto the A bomb site, and it varies. Sometimes it varies. Sometimes they send 3 or 4 players into connector, but it usually ends up being some sort of a split, a very fast-paced split through mid onto A for that connector position. Now, already we had highlighted on the desk that Crims is quite a wonderful player when it comes to holding that position. We'll have to see if Fnatic have done their homework to expect that. I'm sure that they will, because FaZe's playbook isn't that huge. They're able to kind of default back onto their individual skill many times. And
speaking of playbook, Dan, look at the lack of grenades on these players. And again, this plays into how it was almost a perfect situation for Fnatic, the way things have gone. JW spotting a player, he knows it's going to be a fast play. Maybe that standard play that we see Kishima charging into connector, we mentioned that he's going to get naded into nowhere, and everyone is falling to pieces here for FaZe. 2 versus 4 here, AZ and Rain. They're on the site though, but the bomb still needs to cross and get planted. Unable to do so, JW shutting down AZ.
Phenomenal shot there from JW, and with that shot echoing through Mirage, it seems like there's no chance here in this round for Rain, but he's done crazier things in the past. He does have a lot of time to play with, and they don't know exactly where he is, so maybe a fast first frag for Rain as he gets the kill, but does give up his position. What can he do from this one? JW, he seems unstoppable right now. There's the 3rd frag from him with the AWP, and Fnatic will deflect what is a staple strategy from FaZe, albeit they didn't have the full buy to go with it.
What is that?
But that's exactly the kind of round that I talked about, where they maybe play a 4-1 or a 3-2 split through connector into the A bomb site, and Fnatic handled it so calmly and so confidently.
6-1, the double AWPs continue here for Fnatic. They continue to build money. Olofmeister and Flusher on around 10k. So the defenses will be strong for a while yet. FaZe on an eco once again. It was a terrible buy for them in the previous round. And again, this just plays into that fact that they don't have maximum loss bonus because they won that one round. And again, that makes it very strong for Fnatic to extend their lead. And they extend it against weaker and weaker attacks because of the lack of utility here from FaZe. So pistols coming out once again. JW missing the shot there. He hasn't got a backup pistol actually, but he's still going to get really cheeky. That is ridiculous from JW. He cares not, but that's why we love him. 3 players alive for FaZe, 3 players tagged, 1 player fragged. Fox and Kishima remain now. Flusher, I'm not sure if he's looking to pick up a rifle there when he threw that weapon away. Indeed, he picks up an M4, so all good in the hood. 7-1.
Yeah, the lead continues to build there for the Swedish side of Fnatic, and FaZe haven't had much opportunity to get test out their strategies, test out their playbook due to the fact that Fnatic did the full reset as we talked about previously. But now FaZe, they pick up the AWP onto Fox. Let's see how they are planning to use this. I wouldn't expect to see the super fast round from them. They might go back to that a little bit later, and we'll have to see if they can make something else work for the time being. And it looks like they're going to send 4 players towards the B apartments here, so maybe they will keep up the fast play, but this time into B. But there's 3 players here in Crims on the flank. This could be an absolute catastrophe, but they're going to check for Crims and get a free kill. But still, the push is unrelenting here. Olofmeister's going to try to choke them off in a forward position. Big plays from Olofmeister, and that buys so much time for Fnatic to rotate.
Big plays and a brazen reload coming in from Olofmeister as well, full of confidence. Perhaps the best player in the world. So FaZe trapped in apps at the moment. They won't know if there's any aggression elsewhere. You can see Kishima checking over towards T-spawn. AZ in a smoke in short, which means the B split is still possible here. And that smoke, he could have capitalized on that to try and get into B, but you could see he's scared of the angle from CPL, and JW was looking for it as well. He's waiting for somebody to cross towards the short position. So again, more problems with FaZe. Nades flying in as well, like a mouse trapped in a glass under a fire.
Wow. All right, then. It does seem like FaZe they actually managed to not really sustain too much damage, and Fnatic were using a lot of grenades, and because FaZe have waited so long, they've actually created a situation Fnatic don't know if they double backed or not, so they're spreading out. So this is actually well played by FaZe, but they have to connect the entry frags, and they have to do so against Olofmeister initially. He's playing that bench position. There's the first fast snap. Second frag made by Olofmeister. Now the cavalry has arrived as well, and Flusher is going to make quick work of Kiyashima, leaving just Fox in the apartments, but with no support, he is going to go down, and that's going to be FaZe out of this round, and another one for Fnatic as they just add round after round. Seemingly there is no stop to this.
One issue I saw with the fast play we had from FaZe, well, maybe it's an issue. It depends on what your plans are. You saw Kishima in that round where he got into connector really quickly and got naded. He was exposed to short and the site. Obviously, he probably wants to get into the site super quickly, but otherwise, you know, you can get there and get a smoke down one way or another. You can smoke the A site side of connector from outside of A, where you normally throw your A smokes. But anyway, nothing really working out for FaZe at the moment. AZ doesn't have a single kill, Dan. He doesn't have a single kill. He is one of the aim stars on the FaZe side. He's one of the important players who needs to get these openings. He's been getting wrecked over towards A ramp. He doesn't have a single kill on the board at the moment. 8-1. FaZe had a 7-0 lead in the previous map. Didn't work out for them, and now it's Fnatic with a monster lead, a 7-round lead. 8-1 versus FaZe, who need to do more than this, much more than this, if they want to try and defend on their CT side.
One thing that you want to do on Mirage is to have mid control as the T side. But the problem is that it can be very vulnerable against, you know, one-way smokes, as we already saw, and it can also be very vulnerable to retakes from the CTs if they know how to play that correctly. If they have that three-man setup where you can delay the T side from taking connector properly or short properly, they haven't, cemented themselves in there as their grenades start to wear away, then there's always a window of opportunity for the CT side to retake mid. And that can be very problematic, quite hard dynamic to understand how to play properly. This is one of the reasons as well why some teams prefer to go faster, so they avoid that situation entirely. And one of the reasons why one of the staple strategies from FaZe is to play that fast connector and kind of just eliminate those possibilities. But that is one of the things that's been missing so far from their playbook, is their ability to take over connector and take over shorts and the window room to then allow them an ability to make a decision into the mid round where they can go A or B based on the kills and the information that they would have accrued at that point. That's what we need to see from them. But are they equipped to do it? I don't know.
AZ has an ADR of 10.
That is quite appalling.
Flusher has more kills than the entire FaZe clan right now. And we are on to round 10 of the second map. They don't have the money to buy. They're going to be, I believe, at max loss bonus. Indeed, they are already. So they've bought what they can. They've got loads of nades. They can go for an execute here. They need Bedlam. They need Anarchy. They need Molotovs, of which they only have one. Bunch of flashes and a few smokes to get this bomb down. But it's not even about the bomb. Again, they've got max loss bonus. They need to win the round. So this is a desperate attempt at an execution here from FaZe.
So now it's time to go in. The wall of smokes has been set up, and Fnatic are very fast to the retake positions. And Crims, by the ninja spot, is going to be able to easily take down two players with the help of JW and Dennis. This is a quick defense, wiping the floor with FaZe and bringing themselves to 9-1. And FaZe did leave themselves a little bit in the bank to get a 4-buy into this round with their $3,400 max loss bonus as well.
Look at the money.
And yeah,
Flusher, it's impossible for him to spend any money because nothing's happening. He's 14-1, Dan. He's 14-1. Dennis is 9-1. He's got 16K. Olofmeister's 13K. Dennis, they're rich. They're flossing, Dan.
Yeah, and Fox has actually opted to go for AWP no Kevlar this round. And what are they going to go for? It looks like they want to get the A play in quickly again, but maybe with Fox trying to get a pick. This generally looks quite desperate, I must say, from FaZe. And we get a bit of aggression there in Palace from Fnatic. And teams often do that to, of course, either get the kill on a player that could be playing alone or lurk, or get the information if there's going to be a push towards A. And because they saw nothing there, they rotate back towards mid and B, thinking that maybe there's no A presence, but there is.
Resmoke comes in, but I don't think that's going to slow down the FaZe clan. Important frag here by Fox, and now Crims has got to try and buy time for his team. Jacob goes down for free. What else does Crims have to face? There was a push in Palace earlier, so he doesn't have to focus on that too much. Flusher taking down AZ towards the connected area. 3 versus 3 as the bomb starts to go down. Rain trying to push towards CT. Olofmeister really spot him, going for a bit of a spray. Does he realize Rain's close? Finally does. He's going to have to back off. That nade is going to land at his feet. Flusher and Dennis coming in from the middle area. Fox and Kishima stuck on A ramp. Rain over towards the corner area, the fireboxes, and that might be difficult. He can get wall bangs from there. If he goes to the box on his left, then Olofmeister will indeed see his feet there. There is a Molotov onto Flusher as well, so he can try and force that position from Rain while Olofmeister holds an angle, but that clock is continuing to tick. Speaking of angles, you see Fox holding the line there. Rain goes down on the site. That is ticking fast, and now someone needs to get on this defuse. Kishima, though, may be enough to stop it. Indeed, he should be. Olofmeister alone now, trying to do damage, and he will get out of there, but the round will go to FaZe.
Great shots from Olofmeister, all for naught though, and maybe it's, well, it is consolation at this point to pick up a round, but everybody died. And that's going to be a little bit annoying moving forwards, as again they're in this position where, I mean, they need to be building money. Fnatic never let them build money. Whenever they're in a situation where they look like they're good, or even when they win rounds, they just lose everybody. So you can see that even though they won the round, their buy is just terrible. To have a lot of grenades, to have the utility to do stuff on the map like this, they are going to forfeit the ability to play with rifles on 2 players. And with no sniper rifle on Fox as well, this is going to be a really tough ask here for FaZe. And already JW spotting there might be players there in middle and Flusher in a flanking position. It feels like once again Fnatic are in control, but can they pick up the kills?
Fox trying to harass, catches Dennis with a nade in his hand, and he can't finish. He can finish Dennis off, but he's going to fall to the flames here. We've got the push coming in towards B, but where's Flusher? He was underneath them. Where is he now? He's got to do some work in for his team, but he's rotated back towards A because of Fox. The CTs are out of position now. Is this the comeback trail for FaZe? They're on the site. They've got most of the choke points choked off, and they still have a Molotov and a bunch of flashes here, so there are lots of problems on this retake for Fnatic.
So just waiting. They realize they have the time to wait, not only for the smoke, but for their teammates to get into position so they can split onto the side immediately. Spotting the trajectory of the grenade there, Olofmeister will throw a few shots through the smoke, but won't get too much done with it. Now as the Fnatic players start to shuffle in for the retake, but they are not welcome. Headshots for FaZe from Kiyoshima and from JChem, and that's going to be just JW left. And FaZe actually with another round, but again, how much damage can JW do? Of course, they have so much money. He can face as much as he wants for these kills. And FaZe looking to try to hunt him down, and he will be hunted. He will be the prey of JChem as another round goes to FaZe. So 3 on the board now. If they can make this, 4 or 5, then hey, we might just have a Mirage on our hands just yet, but they've got to do more.
Even if they get to 6, it will still be an uphill struggle for them on the CT side. But so far, so good. The money's starting to dwindle for Fnatic now, though their loss bonus is going up at the same time, so that will balance out and maybe will allow them to stretch their buys a little bit further than it otherwise might go. Double orbs again coming out for the CT side. So close was Flusher as well. You have to credit the play from Fox there, taking up Kiyoshima's position, charging through Connector, sacrificing himself for his team, pulling the rotation away from the B bomb site.
And right now we have FaZe looking to try to get an A play going again. They need to position Kiyoshima and JChem towards Connector to actually get that split happening. So still some phases before this push can really come together, before they can execute it. And JChem's trying to work on this, but he's alone, and Kiyoshima was around middle, but he wasn't really any help at all. But it's going to be Fox who picks up the kill onto JW, and that's going to queue up the rush now as Crims sits precariously in this position above the ladder, and he'll easily pick off Rain, but Fox is in with the shotgun that is the AWP close range, and now there's 2 players left for Fnatic as FaZe handily actually take the bomb site after all. So looking good at the moment, but can they close this one?
Dennis and Flusher have a good crossfire. The bomb's still on the... Oh! Dennis gets naded into nowhere, and CT spawn, leaving Flusher alone now versus 2. That was absolutely brutal. Well, both T's in the same place. That's going to be a problem. The flashbang helps Flusher, but he can't take it over the line there. AZ finally gets a frag and clutches it for his team. 2 frags, in fact. He's doubled his tally down.
Very nice indeed for Mr. AZ. And Rain on 2 as well. So, yeah, FaZe not having the best of times, but they're starting to pick up rounds.
No.
So, boom.
He got brutalized.
See you on the moon. So it's going to be a full buy now for FaZe, which is great because they have been struggling to get buys even when they win rounds. And finally, they've actually created a poor buy situation for Fnatic. I say poor, I mean, Olofmeister does have an AWP, but there's only a Deagle on Crims. They do have some good nades as well. So still respectable, more or less, here from Fnatic. And so, but they might start to get a bit aggressive now, but FaZe are already pulling out rounds here. So if they're able to get to 6, then Fnatic can't rest easily. So all the focus needs to be kept in place, and JW will open things up well with a defensive kill onto AZ in middle. So this slow mid-take not working out too well here so far for FaZe.
Look at the aggression from Fnatic. Speaking of which, they've taken the bomb down now. That is exposed. That is in Sniper Alley, no man's land at the moment. Olofmeister has been aggressive towards B on the angle he's holding, which allows Fnatic to put an extra man here in this mid position. Down goes JChem as well. 2 players remaining here, Fox and Rain. This is the second last round of the first half, and they need every single round they can get here. Rain spotted. JW will take him down on his own. Great rifling from JW. 3 kills for him so far in this round. Fox alone now with a decision to make. You can see he's got $700 in the bank. Looking at the money for their side, and it sucks going into the last round. He needs to hold on to this AWP. This is one of the better places to save this exact spot, actually. You get 2 nice ranges
This is a similar story again. You kind of see that FaZe don't have, like, one of the, they don't have a strength in them, the way that they're able to take mid control away from their opponents. And that was exploited heavily here because Fnatic were able to get a lot of engagements to kind of run away with. We saw JW finding multiple opportunities just due to the fact that FaZe's ability to use utility and coordination into middle, they don't make it too difficult for Fnatic to just get their individual skill in there. And whether Fox is able to save this AWP is really up for question because he's got Flusher and Dennis who could definitely make their way to his position in time. To see if he can save that, because that's going to be a really big deal moving forwards. If FaZe want any shot at the next round, the last round of the first half, Fox must survive. He misses the shot and dies after time. Oh, that is really bad. That is really bad. He's going to be playing the last round with $700. That sucks.
If he was around the corner, he would have a better chance in either direction. That's really unfortunate for him because he was exposed. Such is life. $700 going into the next round. Disaster has struck for FaZe. 11-4 or 10-5, I think one of the two is more likely, especially as these double AWPs continue here on the Fnatic side. Limited in guns, limited in grenades, limited in helmets are the FaZe side. If Fox and Jacob run into M4s, they will be like AKs. Although there's only one M4 onto JW, and he's been strong enough with the rifling already. Crims and Olofmeister going for the AWPs in this round.
And Olofmeister not looking like he's going to get too much action just yet. Most of the FaZe players going down the underpass in towards middle, and their presence has been felt by JW, although the counter grenades are going to force them straight back. So maybe Olofmeister will, by way of diversion, get quite a lot of action after all, as we have to wait and see whether or not FaZe decide to go towards his position. They can't easily challenge him as well, just AKs. I think he spotted the pixel there.
He's seen 3 players go past that position, which is why you see JW moving towards the B apps now. Flusher's getting into position as well. They know 3 players are around the B area. They can still rotate back towards T-spawn. There is a player lurking towards T-spawn as well, which is AZ holding a passive position. So Fnatic don't have the information there, but they know there are bodies around this area. The heat map is warm. Olofmeister missing the first shot, going back for a second one, and he'll miss that one as well. Again, he has support. There are 3 people on the B bomb site. There is a big crossfire into these windows.
So this is already a problem because the information game has been definitely won by Fnatic here. They've got almost everyone on the B bomb side. However, FaZe are actually rotating the bomb, which is the smart play. They're leaving Jake in there, also smart to just keep the rotation from going towards A too soon. And so far, it seems to be actually working. Jacob needs to make some presence known, and he will, but he'll go down, which was very unfortunate. If he could have made a frag there, it would have made all the difference. But actually, FaZe have won the A bomb site through that play, and that's going to give them a chance in this one. We'll have to see if Dennis can get something done, and he will. 1 frag, and it's definitely worth it, as now the rest of Fnatic start to storm in, and that's going to be the end of FaZe in the first half of the second map in this best of 3. Fnatic will be 11-4 moving into their T side of Mirage.
The frags just not there for FaZe. AZ and Rain finished the half with 2 frags apiece. Jacob on 5. Kiyashima, the only man to get to double figures. This is a horrible situation for FaZe. Never over until it's over, though. But, I mean, look at these statistics. They are terrible. You see them updating there. This half sucks for FaZe. It was so bad. And, yes, we've talked about how good their T-halves can be. Maybe not against one of the best teams in the world. We'll see if they can bring it back in the second half.
So FaZe have been caught like a fish out of water, seemingly, as they struggle against the Swedish powerhouse that is Fnatic. And Fnatic have moved into an 11-4 advantage on the first half, but now it's up to FaZe to see if they're up for the task of claiming some form of a comeback as they move on to what should be their stronger side, which is that CT side, the more reactive side.
Yeah, difficult times ahead. They were on a T side, they got 4 rounds, and now it is time for Fnatic to impose their will, which it seems they've been doing already on a defensive side. But again, Fnatic are one of those teams which are maybe never truly defending in Counter-Strike. On the T side now, we will find 3 players, maybe 4 with Kevlar here on for Fnatic, and FaZe with full Kevlar on their CT side. Those USPs will have to come in handy for them. Otherwise, they may be up the creek with no paddle to be found there.
5 Kevlars indeed. It's going to be an action-packed pistol round, and already indicated by the pace of Fnatic just charging up short at the moment, as Olofmeister will spot the first player, but
Surprise!
They spread out now as they start to go towards that A bomb site instead. Just presence all over the place now as Fnatic are going to be making their presence felt, and now just slowing it down a little bit, holding, seeing if they can bait a reaction from FaZe.
So look at AZ, he's stuck in shadow at the moment. Kishima's in CT spawn, but he can't really help him. AZ has to find a frag, so he's found one, and down goes JW as well, and the bomb running out of bullets. He still manages to survive for a time, but Flush will finish him off. 2 versus 3 now, man advantage for FaZe. The 2 men in CT spawn, and one coming in from short. They've got the range to shut things down here. The bomb hasn't been planted yet, but there's still time, but that short player is going to be a problem. Olofmeister trying to harass the CT players, but he's got 2 to find, then he's exposed to short as well. Down goes 2, jumping frag, and a headshot no less to take down Kishima, and now Jacob finds himself alone. Bomb getting planted, default. Crossfire coming in for the T's. Flusher just needs to hide now, as Olofmeister can cover the angle for him. All he needs to say is left or right. Picking up the Glock now, running out of bullets. Jacob trying to go for it, trying to get a 1v1. Finds it. Olofmeister well out of position. And that's going to be an impossible defuse coming in. Trying to bait Olofmeister to peek. But Olofmeister, somewhat of a non-believer. Coming in now. Instant headshots from Olofmeister. The round goes to Fnatic.
Yeah, and that's a lot of problems now coming in for FaZe, who will have a very poor economy, and you really need Fox on an AWP as soon as possible. And already, I think we've seen struggles from FaZe on this map, even though Fox has been picking up AWPs, because they don't tend to often place him in spots where he can do very much. We usually see much better performances when he plays short, but sometimes they just stick him on the window as well, where he usually gets just shut down by smoke. So there's a lot of problems for FaZe when they get to the buys, but they might not even see those, because Fnatic have the ability now to just dominate them with these superior buys of their own. A couple MAC-10s coming into this round to play that information game, to really root out those very dangerous positions, the close range positions. So Fnatic with everything going their way.
The CZ party is real. 3 CZs, Rain on the 5-7, and AZ on the Scout. Fnatic biding their time, 1:20 on the clock. Just the 1 Molotov to force a player from his position. You can see Jacob playing the blind spot there. These CZs are dangerous. And Fnatic need to carefully pick their approach and their side. There isn't really a stack onto either side here from FaZe. Fnatic with numbers in mid, but nobody peeking here for FaZe.
Yeah, they can get some cool 1 versus 1s potentially, and that's really how you can win rounds like this, with those very dangerous pistols at the right ranges, and that's where Fox is right now with this CZ. If Crims avails himself, Fox has a chance. It's going to be very tight, though. Crims is a player with a MAC-10, so he has the advantage on the engagement. He's going to get the free frag. That is how it all starts. Now, the bomb will be collected potentially soon by Fnatic, as they have only 30 seconds left, and they really have to move towards their bomb site. They're already ran down. This could get quite awkward here for Fnatic. FaZe definitely with some advantages to play from. The bomb is really far away right now. And it seems like Fnatic are actually a little bit flustered in this round. They've got to quickly dart onto that A bomb site.
15 seconds. That bomb needs to go down. Moving through connector, and Olofmeister gets taken. Now that's dangerous. Kishima's got a nice angle as well. 9 seconds, and that bomb is going to be hard. Kishima's putting in great work here. The bomb's getting planted, but it's not going to be AZ with the headshot there. Crucial headshot. They're going to win by timeout. Kishima going for the knife, not able to find it. JW goes down after time as well. Fnatic just didn't get enough done in enough time. They didn't really have the perfect utility there. Only the 1 Molotov. Bit of a disaster, bumpy start. What will they choose to do? I mean, there's not really much choice they have, considering their money, but it will be the force buy coming out. The Deagles, the Butcher buy, Dan.
Oh yeah, and that's funny because, you know, usually a situation like that, it usually results from a lack of focus. And having coaches can be very powerful in those spots because they can say, okay, guys, you really haven't done enough by this time. And that means you've got to try to come together to really play out the anti-eco. And they just left that way too late. So either way, it's going to be, as you say, these Deagles, and you cannot really scoff at them as they can be very, very powerful. You never know when one of these Fnatic players is just going to wreck everyone with these Deags. And already some damage has been done. Very light damage, though, to Fox initially. But Fnatic have gained some ground, though.
Rain just got bodied by Fox's nade. Unfortunately for him, down to 64 HP. We'll see if these pistols will finish him off a bit later on. A bunch of FaZe players tagged at the moment, as are the Fnatic guys. But again, with these Deagles roaming, they may be troublesome for the FaZe clan. Nobody down for either side just yet.
You really want to, in this situation, Fnatic now know what the, FaZe know what the buy is. They need to force Fnatic to move on to a bomb site. That's where the Deagles will be weaker. They definitely should not be ever peeking Fnatic in this kind of a situation. They've got to force them to make the move onto a site.
Nice flash from AZ to allow Fox to peek mid. AZ taking down Dennis. Spots a player on short as well. That's important information for the CT side. We've now lost a man, and they are heavily, heavily tagged. AZ 1 HP, Kiyoshima 8 HP. Fnatic have opportunity here, but they need to move fast.
And Flusher, the only guy who had a rifle and full HP, is now dead. And it looks like Jacob's cleaning up. Just 2 players left, very weak players, in fact. And the bomb can't really go down here unless Olofmeister can get the kill onto Jacob. That's kind of the condition that he's working with. And now there's just too many FaZe players who are in the vicinity. So Fnatic should surely be really done in this round, as JW is 5 HP, 20 seconds to collect the bomb, 3 players to get through now with that M4 of his and that 5 HP that he has. And he will fall at Kiyoshima, and that will be the round for FaZe after all. But, I mean, Fnatic got a couple kills there, which is acceptable overall.
That would have been very scary. I mean, JW could have still won that round, considering 2 players had a combined 9 HP there. That was very winnable, but wasn't to be. So Fnatic will be on the eco, and FaZe can, at the very least, claw back a respectable score. We'll see how far momentum can take them. They have half the score of Fnatic at the moment. If they can keep Fnatic on poor money, then maybe they can bring things back to a much closer score. Good opportunity for them to build their money, just as Fnatic did in the first half. Not much purchased here by Fnatic. And we'll have a quick look at the money on the T side. It's around $2,000. They're not going to have a fantastic buy in terms of utility in the next round. And they may have to rely on raw skill for the time being. Olofmeister gets taken down. Fox getting tagged again. 12 HP. He needs help from his teammate. AZ can't overextend. He's getting tagged as well. And now we have the same problem as we did in the previous round. Fox gets taken down. Rain has to put in a lot of work here, and indeed he will. So all risks taken care of.
I think actually Fnatic, they lost a round similar to the anti-eco failure that we saw previously. I think they lost a similar round where they just kind of ran out of time, almost as if they sort of forgot how much time they need to get something done on cash as well. So maybe there is a little bit of a trend cropping up there. But if it's if there's just once per map, then it's nothing too significant. But FaZe have been allowed a chance back into this one, and so far they're taking it. And they are pushing it forwards now with a good economy. They've got the AWP onto Fox. Jacob is actually relegated to that MP9 for now, though, but he can play effectively, aggressively with it, or in close positions, which he is doing so on the B apartments at the moment. As Fox gets a bit of damage there with that nade. Oh, that is painful. Jacob just taken down by a stray bullet through the smoke. That sucks.
Look at the positioning of FaZe now. 2 in B, 2 in A, no information in mid, nobody's short, smoked off in the CPL. AZ coming towards connector, but there's a smoke down there as well. Complete denial of information here for FaZe. Minute 15, so still a fair amount of time here for Fnatic to capitalize on this. They've still got a smoke on Dennis as well. Rain, almost a triple peak coming in there from the T's. Now there are huge problems for FaZe. Rain going for a desperate rotation from the B bomb site as AZ gets taken down towards connector.
So this is slowly but surely dismantling here in the defense of FaZe. Just down to 2 men now against the 5. And that is just getting worse and worse. JW, easy entry frag for him up the slope. It's Rain to respond, though, picking up the refrag. But he's got 4 more players to find. And I'm sure his hopes in winning this round aren't very high, as he's going to try to save his weapon. You can see he's just sitting here expecting that the T's will push him to try to eliminate his opportunity to save any weapons or armor or grenades into the next round. And this is actually a great position.
Olofmeister.
And he goes for the jump. So easily done by Olofmeister there. Very nice that he's going to in this situation. Cross all his T's, dot all of his I's, check all those nasty positions, and 13-7 is the reward.
Right then, look at the grenades, or the lack of grenades here for FaZe Clan compared to Fnatic. That tells you that FaZe are in a lot of trouble right now. They are 6 rounds behind. They don't have the grenades to hold map control. They're lacking a lot of helmets as well, which won't matter so much in this particular round. But there are problems here for FaZe, and that might mean aggression coming in. We've got 3 people coming in towards B, so that might be the response FaZe have to their lack of utility. Then it's going straight into connector, creeping very slowly indeed. This could be a meaty nade going from Dennis going towards short. Maybe spotted something there. Maybe realizing something is up. Meanwhile, JW will get taken down towards Palace. Kishima going shadow now. Olofmeister and Crips coming in fast. The split is on here for Fnatic.
And Olofmeister with the spray down onto Kiyashima, sending him flying down into the shadow position as the A bomb site has been thoroughly lost by FaZe, and they are perhaps considering the save here because there's really nothing that they can do, especially without a kit. JKM getting a look in, but that is the last thing he's going to see as he is sent to the bench, and it's just going to be Fox now trying to save the orb. So very deflated FaZe, I'm sure, as these rounds, I mean, they're not really posting much of a defense since Fnatic now going to move 2 away from taking this series and eliminating FaZe. And again, FaZe just struggling.
Yeah, and they're running out of rounds even to struggle. And look at that, nothing but desolation over on the CT side. Finally, a second person has made it to double figures for the CTs, and that is Fox himself, trying to save his gun. Nice snap there, makes it 11, but 11 not enough. Only good for 7 rounds here for FaZe, and again, they have half the score of Fnatic. See what kind of buy they can muster in this round. Obviously, they cannot afford to eco anymore. We have the CZs flying out once again. Fox has a good spawn to go for a mid-peak. But what can he do with it? He's ahead of all his pistoling teammates, and ideally, maybe he holds an angle from CPL while they push mid in the situation, or at least some of the team. But he's going to be heading towards B. 3 people over towards the A side. What do FaZe do in a situation? Do they go for a stack with some players? Do they go for a push? They've got some flashbangs to try and take some aggression, perhaps over towards the A ramp. They've got 3 round connector here, which is interesting. Again, Dennis went very quickly into connector in the previous round, but not this time.
It's quite good for fast trade situations towards mid, but it really depends on how much Fnatic invest and if they find the right timing. And speaking of timings, AZ will find himself a 1 versus 1 against Olofmeister, but he will fall and be the victim. And as will Fox be to JW, sniping in middle. So already Fnatic are creating openings across the map as we have Jakim now moving in to just quickly check what's going on towards the slope position there. And Fnatic, they realize that all they have to do now is play the numbers game, combine, and attack B, and they will be fine in this situation. And it's not really too much that FaZe can do. And when they get the bomb down, they'll probably try and hunt them all down as well, because their money should be getting quite good. In fact, actually, yeah, their money's okay. They can afford definitely to try to hunt down FaZe, because FaZe need to actually take as much as they can into the next round. And, well, maybe it's not going to be over just yet. Rain is posting somewhat of a defense, and looks like with the weapons picked up, maybe there's a chance here for FaZe.
It's a slim chance, but a chance. Kishima over towards the short position. JW brazenly standing in the smoke. JW is, as JW does. Kishima moving away, but what does it mean? Nice snap there, but they don't really have time to go for this. Jakim still lurking around the B bomb site. We have had some ninja diffusers coming in, but he doesn't have a kit. So what is he trying to do? He's only got his armor to lose and a CZ. Maybe he can collect a weapon, but he would need to exit as well. Flush is not going to allow either to happen. Kishima will try and hold on to this AWP. 15-7 match point coming up for the Swedes.
Yeah, it was a cool play. As I mean, he did keep Flusher and Olofmeister away from Kiyashima at the very least. But either way, it is going to be a force buy here for FaZe. They've just got to keep force buying. There's no opportunity to lose another round. Fnatic, of course, on match point now. So times are incredibly desperate here for FaZe. They can actually, of course, get something that looks somewhat okay. Like they can work with what they have. They've got some utility, they've got a kit, they've got Kevlar and so on.
Look at Fox's spawn as well. He has the worst spawn So it's not even like he can get something risky done. He can't go for a peek towards A ramp or anything like that. And he has no Kevlar as well. So if he tries to get into position towards B, for example, then he's going to have difficulty moving towards the window with that terrible spawn. Fortunately for him, there will be a smoke in mid from Fnatic. But that's just the worst thing you want to see. You've got the AWP, you spawn the worst possible spawn. Not much you can get done, especially when your team really needs you.
And the creep comes in towards the B-bomb side as we have Jacob actually hiding, picks up the kill, but what else can he do? He's down to 13 points of health, and Crims will get the trade quite easily, in fact, as now Rain is going to get a couple bullets in there, but he wants to try to make sure he doesn't die without being able to have some teammates to play with. But the pursuit from Fletcher is going to fall flat on his face quite literally as Rain picks up the frag, and now it's going to be a chance here for FaZe as they have 2 players from the shop area, and well, Rain now, I suppose, a memory, nothing but a memory towards the short position, and they systematically will get wiped out. It's just 1 man left, Kiyoshima, and not even he can stand against Fnatic and their might. 16-7, Fnatic will eliminate FaZe and move forwards at the major.
Fnatic with a dominating performance over FaZe there. And those will be lots of warning shots to everybody else in this tournament. The Swedes are back and they are looking very strong indeed. FaZe never in this second map, and they were quickly out of the first one as well after a good start. So lots of difficulty for FaZe, and they will head out of this major. Fnatic looking very strong indeed, completely covering every option by FaZe there.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how this progresses, because I think we have seen a level of inconsistency from Fnatic since Olofmeister's return. But it does seem like, as a unit, they're really feeling it at the moment. So this is, to me, very encouraging, because Fnatic are also, one of the reasons why they are a championship-level team is because they know when to peak in tournaments. They know when to bring their level up to match the occasion. They really did that here. They really sent a statement, as you mentioned. So FaZe, they've got a lot of work to do. I think some of the weaknesses in their game have been exploited by Fnatic. They're somewhat clear. And FaZe, we know they have a lot of talent. They have a great coach as well. They can definitely come back a lot stronger next time.
What will the desk have to say about that match? We will find out after the break. See you back here shortly.
Hello everybody, we are down here in the players area again with a member of the only team never to be knocked out of a major in the group stages. I am here with Olofmeister, and for you guys, interesting last couple of days in the lead up to this very strong performance. JW was interviewed I think a couple of days ago saying that you guys fell into a very prac heavy mindset against FaZe, sort of, you weren't sort of flowing. Would you sort of agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with JW. We have been working on some stuff, but like before the practice we said this is something we need to have, like something extra to have, but not that we should like use, but we just used all we did on practice and nothing we did before. So we just talked about that, and we're playing much better now and playing as we did before. Also, I don't think we're the only group going to the playoffs, or the only team going through to the playoffs every time. I think
Blame Thorin for that one then, I guess.
I think Astralis has went through to the playoffs every time, or some of those plays.
I have to double check it.
I don't know.
It's fine, shoot my stats down. I blame Florin for that one though, just for the record. So on that note, do we see any of that in that first map? Of course, Cash is what you played against FaZe to start things off, and you were playing it fairly slow and methodical, even going the double AWP on the T side, just try and play for some picks. After that, you sort of managed to break through there. Were you sort of stuck in the same mindset at the start of the game, do you think, or was it something else?
We're usually a bit slow started when we play best of 3. I don't know why. We feel we have too many rounds to play around with, and also we lost a lot of 1v1s in the start, trying to break their economy. That didn't really go our way. Also, I don't know, some stuff just it happens in the start. Then we just talk about it, and yeah, we did some mistakes, but we fixed it.
Sure. So here's the story so far. You guys are a team that focuses on playing your own game. You're through, of course, to the playoffs. I mean, on another side, you've got NIP, who have been known as a very tactical, heavy team that struggled today as well. Do you think that there is a tendency for some teams to put too much stock in tactics and strategy? Do you think that was a failing of NIP in general, or do you think it's just a coincidence the way it worked?
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to judge on one best of 3. There's it can go. I think NIP should win that game for sure, but you can have an off day, and if you have an off day against Flipside, you're gonna get punished for it. But I don't know. I don't think they're too heavy. I think maybe they are too heavy focused on the tactical aspect, but they also were too not they didn't focus too much on the tactical before. So I think there's they need to find a mixture between the old play style they had and the new one.
Balance is key, of course. So let's cast our thoughts forward. Obviously, through to the playoffs. Your first opponent is going to be Gambit, who, from what the record says, you haven't really played against in the past. Obviously, those guys sort of coming together fairly recently to form this team. We saw a very strong performance from them against Astralis and the way they made their way out of the groups. What are your thoughts on that match coming up?
Well, it's a hard match. We can't, I think we are the favorites, no doubt about that. We can't underestimate them. They are a core of really good, old school players, and also it's fun to see Hooch back. I really like that guy. He's really funny, and you can see that he loves the game and he will do everything to win. Doesn't matter, he can have 0-40, but he doesn't care. He just wants to win. So I mean, we need to look at them, which we'll do for sure, and also have a game plan ready.
I'm sure you will, of course, when it does come to the arena. Thank you very much for joining me, Olaf. And it's now back over to the NVIDIA expert desk to break down our last match of the day and our last match of the group stage.
Thanks, Mitch, of course, joined by Olaf Meister. It was actually me. I can take the blame for that one. Sorry. Yeah.
It was impressive, though, that Olaf Meister knows that.
Yeah,
that's not even his team. Yeah. There's the thing about the great players. Even if they let on, oh, I don't really get into, ranking of players and stuff, or I don't follow the success. They all know, their stats and what the records are. They love that stuff.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they also just live it. They absorb it. It's almost kind of second nature to them. But yeah, excuse me, Fnatic are now alongside Astralis. I managed to do it. I managed to do it with 2 broken limbs. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But for now, we have to reflect upon that previous map. Gentlemen, actually, go start at the end of the line. Blue, you have the opportunity now just to talk us through that. I mean, let's reflect on both of those maps, but of course, primarily focusing on map 2 Mirage.
Yeah, it feels like on the Mirage, Fnatic just had full control of things right from the beginning of the matchup. Their FaZe trying to battle it out. But I mean, even when we get over to the CT side, FaZe never even really able to get control over their economy. Simple things like that, they were just faltering on. Players that were showing up in the first match, I think Rain was one of them, barely shows up here in the second map as well. And unfortunately, we just see a complete drop-off from what we saw there. And that's a big issue for FaZe for me, is that you never really know who's going to show up to the table. It just seems random almost at certain times.
Yanko, those 2 big names we mentioned just completely falling off the face of the planet.
Definitely, and also they really played some, they had some questionable decisions in crucial rounds. They lose pistol, they win the first gun round, then on the reset round, the most important round for them, most likely, Crims just kills 2 of their players with I mean, it's not even a one-way smoke. He smokes connector for himself and gets 2 kills top mid, which is something that should always expect when there's a smoke there thrown by the CTs. There's probably a player lurking around it, right? They kind of give away 2 deaths there pretty cheaply, and that forces them to eco. Fnatic is all of a sudden up 5-1 against you, and that's when they really start rolling and can play that no-respect Counter-Strike to the fullest.
I mean, we weren't expecting a FaZe win there, but
no, but this was a map that I think they should have definitely been competitive on. When you look at when they're at their best, also it hasn't been a Fnatic map for a while. It's just that Fnatic has that much talent, and they've kind of been quiet over the tournament to even get to this point. They were going to have a Fnatic map sooner or later where they went crazy like this, and so you got your head start on the other map, couldn't make the most of it. This time they got their head start, and they barely let up. They just kept their foot on the metal. I have to say the guy who underwhelmed me the most over the whole series actually has to be Jacob, because this is a guy where, I mean, to me, I think he has to be like the European Shroud. See you on Reddit, guys. Because the thing is, his actual skill level, it's clearly undeniable. Like his actual first bullet accuracy, when he has it going for himself, when he feels in the rhythm, when everything's flowing, he's on form, he just turns around it to his team's favor. He wins maps. That's when they look really dangerous. But when he has games like this where just nothing's going for him, he's got low ADR, you can see in his playing style, he's not so aggressive anymore, he's not going for those aim duels, then he just becomes a non-factor. And so that's one of the things that's puzzling about the FaZe lineup. You look at all this talent, it's kind of like the envious thing. It doesn't matter how great the names are and what they did in the past. If those guys can't come in this game and exert that kind of skill, I mean, what's the use in having that talent? You know, there's no fallback, unfortunately, for FaZe. There's not that, like, SK-style system where you can grind out around here or, you know, the guy who's the support player can get the kills. It really has to be the stars for FaZe, and they're playing against a team here where they were outmatched even in terms of stars.
And I mean, that kind of leads into the question then that Fnatic have now played another best of 3. We've seen them, you know, struggle initially. Yeah. We've seen a real taste of how hard they've had to work. Was it more yesterday than today that we actually saw Fnatic working hard? You see that there was like an absence of celebration, just like another day in the office, almost back to old Fnatic. It was just yesterday where we saw such passion from them.
This is one of the things that I really love about the great champions in the game. It's the reason why the great champions in the game don't react like when we saw Dignitas win that game early on against CLG and celebrating, great stuff. Because they know, like, that's like the beginning of the tournament. Like, I've been into the finals this many times in my career. I've even lost some finals, so I'll wait until I get to that point before I actually celebrate and I know job's done. And so one of the great things about teams like Fnatic or NIP and the old great Counter-Strike teams is they peak over tournaments. They know you can't be totally intense every map of the way. What you've got to do is you've got to eke out some of those wins. You've got to get some that are kind of like a little bit dodgy. You've got to squeeze through, because you know what? I haven't seen Fnatic play particularly great in this tournament aside from Mirage, and they're already into the quarterfinals. And you know what? They can turn it on at any point in time as well. Some of these teams we've seen some great performances from. We might have already seen the best from them in the tournament.
And now we just kind of spend our final few moments just reflecting upon FaZe, as this is our goodbye. I know, sorry.
I hope to wake up tomorrow, Alex. Come on. Spending our last few moments.
We are going to be, of course, coming bright and early tomorrow. We'll be talking more about the schedule for that in just a moment. But FaZe, this is goodbye. Their journey through the qualifiers, Blue, was quite the breeze. It does seem like the major was a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, actually, they, out of all like the very big teams that had to qualify this time around, it seemed like they were looking the most consistent coming into the event. Unfortunately, when we got to the event itself, definitely was not the case. Already starting to see issues. They do upset in that first match, but then as soon as they go to the lower matches, that's where we start to see a lot of the other issues when they have to go up against the big dogs like SK. And then here in Fnatic, we didn't really see much of a show at all for them, in my opinion.
I mean, listen, they had the great game against Fnatic, obviously. That was very impressive stuff. You want to see more of that in the future. Turned out in the end, though, it was just a FaZe, that kind of top-level play. It was a bit brisk, and you know what, in the end, had to rain on the parade, didn't I?
All right, Duncan's making the memes rain here, and we are going to go ahead and leave it on that bombshell. This was FaZe falling, and Fnatic do secure themselves the spot in the LANXESS arena. You saw the tweet there from JW. He is happy that he once again gets to perform for that crazy crowd. 14,000 sold out seats for tomorrow, where we do migrate into the LANXESS arena. The score was 2-0 in that game, but if you want to get your head around how the whole bracket does look, both yesterday, today, and of course what's coming up tomorrow, you can use the application that you know all too well. It's called the Score Esports application. It's available on your smartphone, iOS, and Google Play. And what it does enable you to do is actually understand what the hell is going on. What are these weirdos talking about on the desk? If you are unfamiliar, fortunately, the Score Esports does help you out. I love you. I love you all very much. Don't shrug at me. I love you. I do. I love you.
Expose article coming on what I think about him soon.
I cannot wait. A 25-minute video saying 2 minutes worth of content. Now, though, let's move on. Let's start talking a little bit about what really we have to look forward to tomorrow. That's what we get to talk about now. 4 best of 3s all over again, this time in front of that home crowd, that crazy crowd. And we'll start with Group D. Are you okay? Are we all good? We all good? Recap. Group D. Here it is. We get to see the Brazilians, SK, as he did walk straight on through. Blue. Hey, my man.
What's up?
My main man. Why don't you walk me through that first group? I mean, this was kind of it was a battle for second place. Think SK made it look too easy?
Yeah, to a certain degree, of course. Obviously, coming into this one, they probably look like the strongest team, and I still feel like they're going to be the strongest team going into the quarterfinals, especially now that everything's been thrown amiss by all these upsets that we've had here. So things looking great for them. And then Fnatic coming out second. I personally, coming into this event, I actually thought G2 would have been taking that spot, but it seems like Fnatic showed up. They had the better grit, and they were able to take that big decider, best of one, of course, which dictated so much of this event. And that's how we saw them go through, of course.
Yanko, Group C, Virtus Pro coming out top of their group. Was it something you anticipated coming into this event? I know know you had some faith in Mouse Sports.
No, I didn't anticipate Virtus Pro to come out on top. I had to have faith in Mouse Sports because of my mates, but I was expecting Liquid to go through, actually. I initially expected them to go out with 2 best-of-1 wins, because I thought that if they had to play a best-of-3, that's where they would struggle because of their limited map pool. But considering they played Mouse Sports, it doesn't really matter how limited your map pool is. They're probably going to beat themselves. So we have EP and Liquid in the playoffs.
Group B, I mean, Duncan, Navi did have a kind of a bit of, would you say, a walk in the park? Flipside sure was an easy one, but that 16-12 versus NIP, does that tell the whole story?
Yeah, I think it does ultimately.
Okay.
Like Navi was certainly the better team. They proved it, as usual. They proved it on the terrorist side of what's a terrorist-sided map. And so I think Navi, they just showed me, I don't know yet if they can win the tournament, but they definitely showed me they're back in contender status. And they definitely are a team that people like SK are looking out for. Like, we're still going to have to beat these guys, probably.
And Group A, of course, A4 Astralis, managing to make that. Gentlemen, what a journey that was. Zonic, of course, forced to fill in due to Dupree suffering from illness, of course, has recovered, and he will be fortunately watching in the LANXESS arena. He has to sit back and watch as Zonic will have to continue, due to the rule set, playing in their place as they do venture into the arena. But still, the Danes securing that legendary status, that was kind of their whole mission altogether, and they did manage to complete it. What comes up tomorrow, though, I was teasing you, 4 best-of-3s, and we're going to be enjoying them in the company of 14,000 screaming CSGO fans. I'm going to work my way down the line. Duncan, which is your big standout game? Are you looking towards that Navi Liquid game? You talked about Navi versus NiP. Do you think Liquid stand a chance?
I think they stand a chance, but the problem is, I think if the map that they're going to pick, they have to absolutely win. I think if they do not, the Navi guys have such a deep map pool, it's going to be very, very tough. Because even though we've seen, like, gradually, we saw some Mirage play from them now, we still don't have a big enough map pool that we can put it against the Navi map pool and go, oh yeah, you can win here and get your edges there. There's still only a few spots that they can get to there. So I feel like they have to get their map. Otherwise, it's going to be Navi going on, because they look in very good form overall.
And Janko, just that kind of a closing game I want to just quickly touch on is that SK game versus Flipside. Flipside have already caused civil unrest. Moses described it as one of the craziest upsets we've seen in Counter-Strike, or at least Global Offensive. What have you got for me regarding Flipside's chances versus defending world champions?
I think they're very slim, honestly. In their game, it was a combination of them, yes, playing really well, outplaying NIP, but I also think that it was maybe something Olaf hinted to. They had an off day. They didn't play up to their usual standards, and Flipside punished them for that. But now they're facing against the best team in the world currently, and I feel that, you know, they definitely have nothing to lose in that matchup, so there's not going to be any pressure on them, but I still feel it's going to be SK's game in the end.
And that's all to look forward to tomorrow. Other things to look forward to are events in the future. 2 events in particular. This is ESL One Cologne. There is at ESL One New York. We venture to the Big Apple in just a moment. I say a moment. That's a real bad passage of time, Alex. Come on, let's think about this for a second. It's October 1st and 2nd, and following that, you have another Intel Extreme Masters. That's IEM Oakland, November 19th to the 20th. So there's things to pop in your diary and to check out over at ESL.gg. For now, though, we disappear. It's day 3 done and dusted. And for day 4, we have 4 best-of-3s to get them one step closer to the semi-finals, and once again in front of that crazy crowd. I'm throwing up gang signs. You guys can get some sleep, and we will too, because we're going to be back with more Counter-Strike tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us.